speaker, Rev Neal Worthington, will share the message with us. Thank you, Neal.
Thank you, Donna. Unity Village is a beautiful property, a landmark property in Kansas City, Missouri. Well, actually, Lee's Summit, Missouri. Being situated in Missouri, it's in a state that has a bit of an, well, I should say an idea that shows up on their license plates, and it's that Missouri is the show me state. In 1899, a congressman from Missouri was attending a naval banquet. And this idea of the show me state came from that situation. Now, this congressman didn't always agree with all that was being proposed. As a matter of fact, he was a bit of a thorn in the side of some people. But here's what he said. I come from a state that raises corn and cotton and cockleburrs and Democrats, and frothy eloquence neither convinces me nor satisfies me. I am from Missouri, and here's the point. You have got to show me. Missouri, show me state. And so goes conventional wisdom. Seeing is believing. Show me and I'll believe it. But I'd like you to hang with me this morning as I kind of turn that on its head and say, believing is seeing. Of course, we're working now in this first Sunday in January with the theme of faith. Faith that was it comes from the 12 powers that was developed by Unity's founder, Charles Fillmore, co-founder. And those 12 powers are something that we can live by in a very real way. We can claim them because they are in our inheritance as children of the divine, as expressions of the divine. So these 12 powers were developed about the same time that the congressman was saying, show me. And I'd like to just consider for a minute what faith is. So, of course, it's our inheritance, but it is a kind of intangible things. We sometimes say, have faith in God, or just have faith. That's something hard to get a grip on. It's a bit intangible. However, faith has tangible results that go with it. And I'd like us to explore that just a little bit this morning. Let's try to pin it down. In the Christian scriptures, in Hebrews, we have a familiar verse that goes like this. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. Well, that's nice, but it still doesn't pin it down for us exactly like I'd like to. One of our metaphysicians in Unity, Dr. Paul Hasselbeck, has given us some very concise ideas about what all of the 12 powers mean. And here's what he says about faith. Faith is the ability to believe, to intuit, to perceive, and to have conviction. That helps us a little bit more because it gives us an idea of what that quality, what that faculty is for us. Again, to believe, to intuit, to perceive, and to have conviction. But if we go back a little further, back to the writings of Charles Fillmore, as we find them in the Revealing Word, here's what he has to say about faith. And it goes deeper, and maybe it's a bit perplexing, but we'll explore that. Faith, says Fillmore, is the perceiving power of the mind, linked with the power to shape substance, the power to do the seemingly impossible. It is a magnetic power that draws unto us our heart's desire from the invisible spiritual substance. Faith is a deep inner knowing that that which is sought is already ours for the taking. Did you notice in that statement how many times the word power showed up? Power of the mind, power to shape substance, power to do the impossible, a magnetic power that draws things to us. Well, I love that idea that faith is, in fact, a very powerful thing. And so as we get an understanding of what faith is, we realize that it's something that has been given to us that has great power as we use it. It's something that has to do with our belief, our intuition, our perception, and our conviction. One of the words that's in this statement by Charles Fillmore is the word substance. And that's a bit of a tricky one. What is substance? If we have power to shape substance, what is substance all about? So let's look at substance just a little bit. I think of substance not as matter, which is a way that we might think to go, but it's beyond matter. In fact, it's before matter. Everything that exists as we can perceive it with our senses began in the energy of, and I'm using a different word here, in the energy of substance, because I think that divine substance and divine energy are just fused together. So when we think of substance, we think of intangible stuff, not something we can see, not something we can get in our hands, but as that precedes all that we do see and all that we can handle. So divine energy, as we know, because we know the very nature of the divine, this divine energy, this thinking stuff, as I call it, this stuff is everywhere present, and it's completely composed of everything that is the nature of the divine. Particularly today, we talk about divine intelligence, divine wisdom, and divine love. That's what this stuff is made of. Now, the interesting thing about this stuff is that it's a shapeable and moldable stuff. So it's intangible, but we bring it into form. And yes, we're a part of that, bringing it into form. It's destined, in fact, to take form. This is where we come in. We, as expressions of the divine, co-creators, are the ones that cause substance to take form. Wallace Wattles, on whose work The Secret, if you remember the movie or the book, was based, says it this way, and I like this. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. A person can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. Now that truly is powerful. So we, as expressions of the divine, as co-creators, can lay hold of, as it were, well, not really with hands, but we can take this substance, this thinking stuff, this wise, intelligent, and loving stuff, this energy, and work to form it and to bring into our existence that which we desire. So from this forming process comes, of course, a word that we talk about quite a bit, manifestation. So let me try to give an example that'll help us to maybe make connection with the idea of substance being shaped and taking form, and that being the result of faith. Did anybody remember? Now I'm going to ask you to unmute and give me an answer if you can. Anybody remember a movie starring Fred MacMurray called The Absent-Minded Professor? Shake your head if you do. I see some hands. Yeah, that's great. So here's the quiz question for today. The professor, the absent-minded professor, discovered a new type of energy, and he called that discovery what? Somebody unmute and tell me what it was.
Flubber.
Hey, all right, flubber. We got it. Beautiful. Thank you. Who was that? Was that Rick? Anyway, thank you for that. I didn't get who it was. So flubber was a substance whose energy increased as it was used. And at first it was used to levitate in balls. First those balls that levitated and bounced higher and higher. And shoes that bounced so much that a college basketball team came back from a great deficit to win the game. And then of course that Model T that flew. So that was one of the ways that energy was put into use, brought into form. There were also a great number of imaginative ways that energy might have been used. If you remember, it was imagined that this energy could be transformed and shaped into flubbermen that choose while you snooze. In flubberin, that bounces away pain again and again. In the flubber cycle, that flubs away fat. And in flubberdent, you'll wonder where your dentist went when you brush your teeth with flubberdent. Well, of course, that's kind of humorous, but the image is on a very small scale, the very idea that we're talking about here. A distinct kind of energy that's made to form something new, something exciting, something that didn't exist before, something that's being created. Well, we'll leave the professor behind, and I want to share with you how I think this works. This divine energy, this thinking stuff that we have. Here's how I think it works. I think it all starts with that divine energy, with that intelligent substance, again, that's everywhere, that's all around us. We can't be a place where it is not. Divine energy is where it starts. And that divine energy somehow gets connected with heart's desires. There within each of us are desires. Heart's desires. And the idea that this energy can be connected with a heart's desire is the thing that precipitates manifestation, which is where we're going. After heart's desire, maybe those desires are clarified and we coalesce them into intentions, as we speak about in our intenders group. And then we go on to, in that intention process, to visualize with great feeling what it is that we desire. I really liked the song from John Denver that Cinnamon Twist sang for us this morning. Did you notice what it says? Make some pictures and see what they may bring. That's exactly right on. Make some pictures and see what they may bring. And then we take that visualization process and we stick with it. We hold those images, we hold that feeling, we hold that thought in mind. And as we do that with consistency and with patience, and as the next step, to allow divine wisdom to inspire us to a certain kind of action. Allow divine wisdom to give us ideas that we didn't have before. As we allow that wisdom, after the heart's desire, the intention, the visualization, the affirmation, we get to where we desired to be all along. We get to that manifestation. We take that thinking stuff, we form it, and there it is, a creation, our lives, the reality of our lives as we know it. So I love this idea that faith is this very key ability that can take that substance and move it from substance, which is intangible, to a manifestation, which is tangible and the reality that we've desired. Putting the power of faith to work inevitably means that you will see what you have pictured with the eyes of faith. So, as I always end up, how do I do that? How do I do that? All of this stuff we talked about, faith, thinking stuff, energy, how do I do that? And here's the way I think we do that. For me, it's the case. One, we accept the gift. Remember that faith, the power of faith, is a gift. It's a divine inheritance. We accept the gift. So often we get stymied because we simply don't accept the gift that is ours. And in accepting the gift, we do this also. We look at ourselves with new eyes. When we have that gift, when we know we have that gift, we look at ourselves with new eyes as co-creators, as true co-creators, expressions of the divine and co-creators of our reality, of our life. Then it's important to be clear about your desires. What is it that you really want? Is it just a wish or an idle thought or something that passes very quickly? Or is it the true heart's desire? Get clarity on your heart's desires. Then see it. Believing is seeing, as we know. And finally, as in all things, gratitude comes into it. Celebrate the manifestation and what comes into your life, maybe even before it's here. Celebrate that with gratitude. Faith, the power to shape substance, connecting with that which is our heart's desire. And so it is. Amen.
And so we're going to prepare for meditation. As we listen to our meditation song, One Heart at a Time, Karen Drucker.
Change the world, one heart at a time. We can change the world, one heart at a time. I see you, I know you, you're a part of me. We can change the world, one heart at a time. We can change the world, one heart at a time. I see you, I know you, you're a part of me. We can change the world, we can change the world, one heart at a time, one heart at a time. We can change the world, we can change the world, one heart at a time, one heart at a time. I see you, I see you, I know you, I know you, you're a part of me. And my heart is open to love. My heart is ready to love. can change the world. One heart at a time. We can change. One heart. One heart. One heart.
And now a time of quiet for us where we can do some inner work. So breathe with me. Notice your breath and let all other events, thoughts go by the wayside. And just breathe. Experience that great gift of life that is ours. And as we do, we look into our situations, we look at our lives, and we know that what we have experienced in the past is not as great in any sense as what we can experience in the future. We know change will free us. And so we look for just a moment at where we've been. Go on a little journey with me. Find yourself descending a staircase. At first it was light, and then as you go down one step at a time, it gets dimmer and dimmer. And finally you reach the bottom, and you find that at the bottom of those steps is a place where you have been. It's a place where you see images of how you have responded to your world. And then you look about in that dim light, and you also see that the door behind you is locked. And you are imprisoned, bound to those patterns that you've lived, bound to your past experience. And for a moment, you almost despair. But then suddenly a beam of light comes and penetrates that gloom, and you notice that the door of the prison swings open. The stairs beckon, and you go through that door and you walk up those stairs step by step with more expectation and anticipation as you get to the top, because something new is there to happen. Some freedom is there that you never have experienced before. Your slate will be clean. You'll have all of the opportunity. All of the potential that you are is ready to be fulfilled. So as you arrive in full daylight again, you just stop to be in gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for freedom. I am grateful that I am not bound to my past, but I can look to a new future. And you take that thought into the silence. Gratitude. I am thankful that I am not bound, but that I am free. And as you begin to experience that freedom, you know that all things can be and are being made new. So new that it's almost as though you have a new identity, almost as though you have a new name. And with great joy, you come back to this time, this place, expecting the best in 2021. And so we come back to today, Sunday, the 3rd of January, 2021. We open our eyes and we wiggle our fingers and our toes. We're back here ready to experience that great sense of freedom. And so it is.